Greetings, one and all, and welcome to episode number 58 of Thoughts and Hunches, making money in bunches and sucker punches. Your boy Stoney is back for the 58th time, and I'd like to welcome my fellow hoodlums, cheats, lowlifes, hustlers, scumbags, fienders, and degenerates. And of course, by viewer suggestion, criminals, perverts, horn dogs, virgins, jagoffs, jihadists, altar boys, and of course, Catholics who have peculiar relationships with their altar boys. Donnie, Matt, Cruz, you know who you are. You're out there. But that's okay. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, the reason you're all back for the 58th time is because last week, Super Bowl Sunday, what did I do? I delivered you dollars. Money in your pocket. Counting money with our tongues. It's what we did last week. 13-10 in the NCAA on Saturday, not so good. Certainly not bad. It's shade under 60%. We'll take it and move on. But then the Super Bowl Sunday rolled around. We hit the side. Thank God for the missed extra point. We hit the total and the under. Thank God for basically an entire quarter of no scoring in between the third quarter and the time that the referees decided to decide the game on that final drive and give the Super Bowl title to the Rams. That helped us with the under. But also, we hit 5 out of 7 prop plays. Now, that's like unheard of. Usually, somebody bets 7 prop plays, you're lucky to hit 3, right? But I hit 7 of them. And here they are. Here's a list of them, right? Coin toss winner will lose the game. I had it. I had that prop, and Cincinnati won the coin toss, lost the game. That's 8 consecutive Super Bowls that's happened. How many times will the NBC show Roger Goodell? I had over 1.5. It landed on 1, so I missed that one. Matt Stafford, first completion, 7.5 yards. I had under. I hit that one. His first completion was 6 yards. Cooper Kupp, longest reception, 27.5 yards. Under, I hit that one. His longest reception was 24 yards. Joe Burrow passing yards, 287 yards. I had under. Won that one. Joe Mixon rushing yards, over 62.5 yards. Hit that one. He had 75 yards. The only other one, and the last one, is the one that I missed. I had Jamar Chase, over 5.5 receptions. He had 4 at halftime. I was locked in. He had 1 in the second half, so I missed by the hook. But still, 5 out of 7 on that, right? 2-0 in the Super Bowl and 13-10 in NCAA. So 15-10 as far as my picks went, and then 5 out of 7 in my props. So clearly a winning week. NFL playoffs, because of the 2-0, we finished 14-12 in the NFL playoffs, 53%. That's our lowest number, and it all hinged on that one weekend of the divisional playoffs where we just kind of got our butts kicked. But we did well we won in the wild card, we won in the championship, and we won in the Super Bowl. We just had a miserable week in that divisional round, which cost us. But anyway, NCAA basketball, we went 13-10. That's 132 wins, 85 ties, or 85 losses on the season. That's 60.83%. Can't beat that. Add it all up, 15-10 last week. That's 60% right on the dot. And that doesn't even count the props. So overall, for the season, 479 wins, 309 losses, 2 pushes. That's 60.79%. That's just under 800 free picks that I've given out, and I've hit it a 60% clip. I dare anybody to do that. 800 picks at 60%. Good luck if you even want to try it, because you can't do it. Anyway, we're going to go over a couple things before we get to the picks. I want to recap the Super Bowl right quick, and just how, I don't want to say forgettable, but the Rams are a forgettable team. I think if you take Aaron Donald off that team, then they're an extremely forgettable team. usually when the Super Bowl ends, you hear, oh, this could go down as one of the great teams. You didn't hear that last week. You won't hear that. The Rams will never be considered a great team. This Ram team backed into the NFC Western Division title only because Arizona shit themselves coming down the stretch. Then they wound up playing Arizona in the first round, and Arizona was the worst team in the playoffs. Then the second round, they got a Tampa Bay team that was, you think the Rams were wounded without having OBJ in the Super Bowl? Well, Tampa Bay was really wounded, right? Brady had nobody to throw to. And then in the championship game, they got a 49er team that, let's face it, didn't have a quarterback. And was still an interception away, a dropped wide open interception away from basically ending the Rams' season. And then in the Super Bowl, they got the Bengals. And God bless the Bengals. The Bengals played hard, and the Bengals are good, and the Bengals are going to continue to be good. But because of that, they avoided the Bills, they avoided the Chiefs, they avoided the big hitters from the AFC. Not to mention the NFC. They didn't have to play Dallas. They didn't have to go to Green Bay. They really got the easiest path on their way to their title, and none of their. I mean, the only win that was real easy was the first round one against Arizona, but they struggled against Tampa Bay. They struggled against the Niners. They struggled. So anyway, to make a long story short, this Ram team will not go down in history. They won. God bless them. Good for you. Get your ring and move on. The halftime show. We live in an era now of recency biased. And what I mean is, whenever something happens, oh, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. Whoa. Ever is the halftime show was fantastic. It was L.A., it was Dre, it was Snoop, it was Marshall Mathers, it was 50 Cent, it was Kendrick Lamar, it was Mary J. Blige. You had all these superstars on the stage, all lip syncing, by the way. And behind Dre's production value, come on, it was perfect. It was an LA show. Everybody loved it. And then, oh, that was the greatest show I've ever seen. Whoa, hold your horses. All right. First of all, everybody from now on, or from 2008 on, is playing for second best in Super Bowl halftime shows. Nobody will ever top Prince. And maybe that's my bias, but just Google it. Take out your phone right now and Google best halftime shows, and you'll find lists upon lists. Every single list has Prince number one, 2007. In the Rain, in Miami, no production value. Send Prince out there, no lip singing, let him do his thing, and he dominated. Right? I also have an affinity towards U2. I thought their 9/11 tribute 3 months after 9/11 in 2002 was fantastic. So I had that number 2. And then tied for number 3, I put this one along with the J-Lo Shakira one from a couple years ago, which was very good. There were also other ones. Tom Petty I liked. I liked Bruno Mars. There were a lot of them, I mean, going all the way back to Michael Jackson, who had the first real Super Bowl halftime show spectacular, right? There's been a lot of good ones. There's been a lot of bad ones, but there's been a lot of good ones. And this one was good. I'm not knocking it, but I'm just saying, whoa, hold up on the greatest halftime show ever speech, all right? Sports talk media. We're in that time of year now where, for some reason, sports talk, nationally syndicated sports talk radio hosts, all the big guns, the Romes, the Cowherds, the Patricks, all those guys, are scared to talk about Major League Baseball lockout. They're scared to talk about NBA. They're scared to talk about hockey. They're scared to talk about NCAA, even though we're 3 weeks away from all hell breaking loose in the NCAA. We're talking about rumors. Well, what if Russell Wilson goes here and Tom Brady comes back and Aaron Rodgers goes there? Who cares? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the NFL season end last Sunday? I guess so. Or, I mean, I guess not. Because that's all anybody's still talking about is the NFL right now. And it's like, wait a month. Then you can begin to preview the draft. But until somebody makes a move, please, I don't want to hear the what ifs. I'm just tired of it, right? Football season's over with. And NCAA basketball right now is at its crescendo. You all know I'm not an NBA fan, but how can you not be excited about NBA All-Star Weekend if you're an NBA fan? All right, you gotta love that. Call hockey right now, golf. I'm watching the LA Nissan or the I don't even know what it's called now, but it was always the LA Open, then the Nissan Open. Now it's something else. The Genesis Invitational. There you go. Tiger Woods is the host. But my point is that there's plenty of sports to talk about aside from the NFL, but the big bad NFL dominates, right? MLB Lockout. They were locked out the day after the World Series ended, or whenever that happened, soon after the World Series ended, soon as the collective bargaining agreement expired. And they've only met like 3 times. And apparently both sides are way off in their demands and what they want. And yesterday they met for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. They said they're going to start meeting next week regularly. Well, what does regularly mean? They should have been meeting. I mean, what happened in December and January? Why weren't they meeting then? They're just not doing it. They don't care. They don't care about us as fans, right? All they care about is their piece of the pie, because money is what rules it all, right? And that's what's at the heart of this whole thing, is money. Millionaires fighting with billionaires over their share of the billions that come in from TV and everything else. NIL, everything. It's just insane right now. And the fact that we're going to miss some spring training. I'm not going to be able to go to Arizona like I do every year. For the 3rd straight year now, I won't be able to go to Arizona. The last 2 years was because of COVID. This year it's because the players and owners can't get along. It's just insane. How many games are they going to miss? What's it going to cost? How many fans is it going to cost? It's just ugly. They should have been meeting. They should have had a new CBA out by now, but they don't want to because they want more money. So there are other stories that I could have gotten to. I could have gotten to Phil Mickelson, right? Donnie O's boy. Donnie O's favorite golfer in the world. Him and Ian Poulter are Donnie's favorite golfers. Phil Mickelson is just a douche and continues to be a douche. He's always been a douche. If you like Phil Mickelson, Matt Pumarda, yeah, I'm talking about you, Matty. I know Mickle Fat is your boy. But forget about it, man. The guy's just tone deaf. I don't think he listens when he opens that fucking hole under his nose, right? He needs to just shut his mouth and play golf, right? Now he wants to take money from the Saudis, even though they're murderers and they killed this guy and they have terrible record on human rights violations. Please, 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 just stop, Mickelson. Shut up. NBA All-Star Weekend, like I said, it's going to be going on all weekend. At this point, does anybody care anymore about the NBA All-Star Game? Does anybody care about any Pro Bowl, NBA All-Star Game, NHL Hockey All-Star Game? Any of them? Except for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, which is still the best one and will always be the best one. The NBA All-Star Game is, I don't know. The only good thing I can tell you about the NBA All-Star Weekend is they do a good job of bringing back their great players. And this is the 75th anniversary, the 75th team, the top 75 players of all time. They're all there. And I've been seeing them all weekend, and that's kind of cool. But outside of that, I mean, come on, really? So that's it, all right? We're going to get to some picks now, all right? It's college basketball from here on out. From here until the national championship game, that first Monday of April. So let's do it. Let's keep the train rolling. We're at, what did I say? NCAA basketball, 60% right now for the season, 60.83%, just under 61. I'd like to get over 63, so we'll see how that goes as the lines get tighter and as we come up on conference tournament time, which is in 2 weeks, and that's followed by the big dance, which starts in the middle of March. So anyway, here we go. Let's start. All right, we're gonna go through these pretty quick. Noon Eastern time, first game out the box. Big 12 action at the Farrell Center in Waco. You got 7th-ranked Baylor, 21-5. They're 11.5-point favorites over 16-7 TCU. Baylor's 3-3 in their last 6 games after their 15-0 start. and they lost Jonathan Chachua to an ACL last week, and he was a major part of their championship run last year. So the defending champs are going to have to go at it without him the rest of the way. They're up against a TCU team that's dropped 3 out of 4 and 5 out of 7, and their last 5 of their last 7 games are all against ranked opponents. So they've got their work cut out for them down the stretch, and it starts today with a trip to Waco, which nobody likes to take these days. I'm going to take Baylor. I'm going to lay 11.5. I know it's a big number, especially in conference late in the season. But hey, Baylor needs to bounce back. Baylor's, like I said, they're 3-3 in their last 6. They need to start chalking up these wins if they want to improve their seeding come tournament time. Noon Eastern time, Big East, Gamble Pavilion up in Stores. You've got Yukon versus Xavier. Yukon's ranked 24th. They're 18-7, and they're 6.5-point favorites over 17-8 Xavier. Xavier's lost 3 out of 4 and is struggling right now. Yukon's won 3 out of 4 and seems to have turned the corner and is really playing good ball. Xavier, like I said, can't seem to get things right, but 6.5, I'm going to take that. For some strange reason, I like those points. I'm going to take them. Yukon wins, Xavier covers. Give me the 6.5. Noon Eastern time, Big Ten action, the Breslin Center in East Lansing. You've got Michigan State, 1.5-point favorites against 18-7 Illinois. Michigan State comes in also 18-7, ranked 19th. Illinois is 3-3 in their last 6 and haven't really shown much, right? But Michigan State, on the other hand, has also dropped 3 out of 4. The problem is the Big Ten, which is loaded. I've said it since the start of the season. It's the best conference in the land. Is very, very top-heavy. Now, they have some good middle-of-the-road teams, but their top-heavy teams, Purdue, Wisconsin, Ohio State, they're all, top-heavy. Those are top 10 teams that are going to do a lot of damage down the stretch. And don't dismiss Rutgers, who all of a sudden has become world beaters. Last 4 games, they've won outright over ranked opponents out of nowhere. But in this one, I'm going to take Michigan State at home. I'm going to lay the 1.5. Sparty moves on. 12:30 p.m. Eastern time, Big 12 action. The Frank Irwin Center in Austin, Texas. This one's a good one. It's a rematch of Texas versus Texas Tech, a game that took place February 1st in Lubbock. It was Chris Beard's return to Texas Tech after guiding them to the NCAA finals a couple years ago, where they lost. But he built that program at Texas Tech after the Knights. Bobby Knight and his son took over for all those years. But Texas Tech is now a national power thanks to Chris Beard. He moved on to Texas and kind of got his ass handed to him in Lubbock earlier this month. But since then, Texas Tech's righted the ship. They've won 4 out of 5. Texas has won 3 out of 5. Mark Adams has done an outstanding job at Texas Tech of taking over for Chris Beard. He inherited a hell of a team, and they're playing good ball. They're 20-6. They're ranked 11th. Texas, on the other hand, is 19-7. They're ranked 20th, and they're 3.5-point favorites at home. I'm going to take Texas to get Texas Tech back. I took them in the first game then, and they lost, but I'm taking them here to get a little revenge, get the win and the cover, minus 3.5. 1 p.m. Eastern time, SEC action, Rupp Arena, up the road a few hours in Lexington. This one should be another good matchup. Number 4 ranked Kentucky, 21-5. They're 6.5-point favorites against 25th ranked Alabama, who comes in at 17-9. UK lost to Tennessee the other day, but that halted a 6-game winning streak. And Kentucky is Kentucky. I mean, they're always there. They're back. They're ranked 4th, and I mean they'll probably fall after the loss to Tennessee. But if they can win tomorrow, they won't fall too far because, again, Bama's a ranked team. Alabama's won 4 in a row after a 2-game losing streak, so they seem to have got things back together. And kind of like the Big Ten, the SEC is loaded as well, and the SEC has some really good teams at the top with Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee, Arkansas, Alabama. A lot of good teams in there, right? I don't count LSU, but certain retired federal workers are kind of bound towards LSU, but they're struggling in a major way. But in this one here, right, I like Bama. 6.5 is too many points. Kentucky wins. Bama gets the cover. 1 p.m. Eastern Time, ACC action, Winston-Salem. This one has the makings of a good one. You got 20-7 Wake Forest, 6.5 point favorites, which kind of seems to be the norm. This is the third 6.5 point spread that I've seen already. Wake is 6.5 point favorites over 19-7 Notre Dame. Now, Wake has lost 2 in a row, Duke and Miami, right? Not bad losses because they're both good, and that was after winning 4 straight. Notre Dame, on the other hand, has now won 5 in a row. They're now tied with Duke at the top of the ACC, very quietly. Nobody's talking about Notre Dame and the job Mike Bray has done. In South Bend, all anyone wants to talk about is football. But right now, they got a good basketball team. They're going to be dancing, and they're going to be ranked if they can pull this one off. I don't think they're gonna, but I'm going to take the 6.5. I'm going to take the dog again. Third straight 6.5 point spread that I'm taking the dog on. 2 p.m. Eastern Time, back to the SEC. This one's down in Gainesville. You got second-ranked Auburn comes in 24-2, and they're facing 16-10 Florida. Florida is they lost 2 after a 3-game win streak. Auburn comes in winners of 8 of 9. They've pretty much got the SEC locked up. If they haven't already, I don't even know if they've clinched it yet. They might have, but they're going to win the SEC. They're going to get the number 1 rank in the SEC, and they'll probably get a number 1 rank NCAA ranking as well. And most of that is because of Jabari Smith. Jabari Smith is a one and done, can't miss, top 5 pick. Could be the number 1 pick overall. He's just a freak, and the guy can just ball out. And he's going to be the difference. He's going to take over this game down the stretch. 2.5 points doesn't seem real. It seems like the trapdoor of the week. But I'm going to go with the Tigers and Bruce Pearl. Auburn, minus 2.5. There's your winner. 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Big 12 action. The Hilton Coliseum in Ames. You've got Iowa State at 17-9. They're 2.5 point favorites over 14-12 Oklahoma. Oklahoma can't seem to get out of their own way. They've lost 4 out of 5. They're going to have to basically run the table and win the Big 12 tournament if they want to get into the tournament. Otherwise, they're going to be NIT bound. And NIT, for those of you that don't know, stands for the Not Invited Tournament. Iowa State beat TCU after losing 4 in a row. But Iowa State is still, they're still 17-9, and they had a 4-game losing streak in there. They're going to bounce back. They're going to bounce back strong. They're at home. They're going to take care of business against Oklahoma. Take the Cyclones, lay the 2.5. 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, Big 10 action in Columbus. 18th ranked Ohio State is 4.5 point favorites over 17-8 Iowa. Iowa lost to Michigan the other day after winning 3 straight. Ohio State's won 4 out of 5, and Ohio State's 11-0 at home. They haven't lost. They're not going to lose. Well, they're not going to lose tomorrow. So I'm going to take Ohio State. I'm going to lay the 4.5. 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to stay in the ACC, and you got South Carolina versus LSU. LSU's 19-7. This one's at Colonial Life Arena in Columbia. LSU's 5.5 point favorites at 19-7 against the South Carolina team that has won 3 in a row after losing 5 out of, or they've won 2 in a row after losing 3. LSU, on the other hand, it's LSU. What are you going to do? They've won 3 in a row, but that was after losing 5 out of 6. Their last 11 games, they're 3-8 against the number. And the last 3 weeks, I've gone against LSU on this telecast as my lock of the week, and they've hit all 3 times. And that was following a message I received from a certain retired former U.S. Department of Bureau of Prisons worker who claimed that my lock of the week was meaningless because I lost so many of them. Well, now I've hit 3 straight, all in his ass, against LSU, and nothing. Haven't heard a word from him. He's just frightened. He's scared. He's scared that LSU is going to lose this game. to a South Carolina team that is, not bad, and they're surging. But I'm going to take South Carolina plus 5.5. Am I going to take? Am I going to take the Tigers? You know the answer there. Lock of the week for the 4th straight week against LSU with South Carolina plus 5.5. As we move on, 4 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to stay in the SEC. We've got Bud Walton Arena in Fayetteville. This is a good matchup. These are 2 very good SEC teams and the 2 hottest teams going in the SEC right now. You got 23rd ranked Arkansas, who's 20-6. They're 2.5 point chalk over 16th ranked and 19-6 Tennessee. Now, UT has won 5 in a row. They've won 8 out of 9. And their last 2 losses were to Kentucky and Texas. And the Texas game was a buzzer beater. So Tennessee's playing really good ball, and they just knocked off Kentucky the other day. They've got everything. Rick Barnes seems to have the squad rolling. But now they're headed to Fayetteville, and they're facing D.O.'s boy, Arkansas. It is what it is. Right? Arkansas's playing good ball right now. Arkansas's won 10 out of 11. Their only loss during that time was by 1 to Alabama. They beat Auburn and snapped their winning streak during that time. Arkansas's red hot. And as much as I like Tennessee and I like what Rick Barnes is doing right now, for some reason Arkansas just has the edge. I'm going to take Arkansas and lay the 2.5 at home. 4 p.m. Eastern time, ACC action. Blacksburg, Virginia. Virginia Tech comes in 16-10, and they're hosting 18-8 North Carolina. These are 2 teams that are heading kind of in opposite directions. Carolina's 2-2 in their last 4, with a really bad loss at home the other night to Pitt, which really hampered their bubble hopes, because they're a bubble team at best, right? But the name North Carolina might squeeze them in if they do some damage in the ACC tournament. But on the other hand, Virginia Tech, right, they've won 6 straight, and they're surging towards the bubble, right? They may only be 16-10, but they put together some good wins, and they're 4.5 point favorites against Carolina. Everyone's going to jump on Carolina because, oh my God, North Carolina's a 4.5 point underdog. That's too easy. No, it's too easy to go the other way. Take Va-Tech, lay the 4.5. There's your W. 5 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to stay in the ACC. The Watsco Center, Miami, right? The Canes, 19-7. They're 1.5 point favorites over 16-10 Virginia. Miami's won 3 in a row after they lost 3 out of 4. Virginia lost to Virginia Tech the other night, which halted their 4-game winning streak. But I like Virginia here. I like Virginia plus the 1.5 in a very good coaching matchup between Bennett and Laurinega. I'm going to take Virginia 1.5 as they slow the pace down and get the W outright. 5 p.m. Eastern time, Big East action at the Pavilion in Stony-Delphia. You got 10th ranked Villanova, who comes in at 20-6. They've won 4 straight behind Colin Gillespie, who got a career high 33 the other day. He's playing like the All-American that he is. And they're playing 6-19 Georgetown, who has lost 15 in a row. But Georgetown here's a 21.5 point dog. Nova wins, Georgetown covers. I'm going to take the 21.5. If Nova wins by 30, so be it. But I'm going to take Georgetown and take a flyer on them. 6 p.m. Eastern time, Mountain West Conference, Extra Mile Arena in Boise. Boise is very quietly a good team. They're 20-6. They're in first place in the Mountain West. They're 4-point favorites over 15-12 Utah State. Utah State's dropped 3 straight. Boise's won 4 out of 5. Like I said, they just seem to do everything quietly this year. Take Boise, lay the 4. 6 p.m. Eastern time, ACC action, Cameron Indoor. 9th-ranked Duke, 22-4, welcomes Florida State, who is just in dire straits. They're 14-11, and they're 16-point dogs to Duke. Duke is looking for payback after the 1-point loss in overtime to Florida State last month. And Duke is tied for first place with Notre Dame at the top of the ACC. They want that number 1 seed in the ACC tournament. And Florida State has just had so many injuries, and they lost 6 in a row before they beat Clemson the other day. But I'm going to take Florida State. Again, 16 points is a lot of points, and Duke can win this by 20. Banchero could go off, and Duke could roll, but I don't see it. I'm going to take the Noles plus the 16, even though they're decimated with injuries. Doesn't matter. I still like Leonard Hamilton. I'm going to take the points. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, back to the Mountain West. Thomas and Mack Center. UNLV is 4.5-point dogs against Colorado State. Colorado State comes in with a sparkling 21-3 record. UNLV's 15-11. UNLV's lost 3 out of 4. Colorado State has won 5 in a row. Before they lost 2, but before that they won 5 in a row. So they won 10 out of 12. They're playing good ball. They want to keep pace with the top of the Mountain West in Boise right now. And I like Colorado State. I'm going to lay the 4.5 on the road against UNLV. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Big East action. The Prudential Center in Newark. You got Seton Hall at 15-9 and 10-point favorites over a 12-13 middling, not a very good team of DePaul. Seton Hall's lost 2 in a row. DePaul's lost 3 in a row. But the thing about DePaul, they seem to get the covers. And I've gone against them the last 2 Saturdays and lost both of them because although they didn't win, they covered both of them. So they're 6-3 in their last 9 against the number. So I'm going to take DePaul plus the 10. Seton Hall wins. DePaul gets the cover. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Big 12 action. Morgantown, West Virginia. 6th ranked Kansas comes in. 4.5-point favorites. They're 23-4 and cruising and looking all the bit like a Final Four team. West Virginia is 14-11. They've lost 4 out of 5. This is one of Bob Huggins' worst teams that he's had in a while. They just can't seem to get things going. And KU comes in, winners of 4 out of 5. KU wins this one and wins it pretty easily on the road and gets the cover. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, WCC action at the Kennel up in Spokane. The nation's number 1 team, the nation's number 1 team in scoring. The 22-2 Gonzaga Bulldogs, 21.5-point favorites over 18-9 Santa Clara. Now, Santa Clara is a good team, and Santa Clara's had a good season. And they've won 4 out of 5. But here's all you need to know. Gonzaga's won 23 straight over Santa Clara. Make it 24. I'm going to lay them all. Normally I would take Santa Clara in this, but I've just bet against Gonzaga too many times this year, especially at home, and it just never seems to work. Take the Zags, lay the lumber. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Pac-12 action, Tucson, Arizona. Arizona minus 13.5. They're 23-2 and ranked 3rd in the nation right now and looking every bit like the best team in the Pac-12 and also a number 1 seed probably. Gonzaga will get a number 1 seed, and so will Arizona. So you'll have 2 teams from the West that'll have number 1 seeds, as long as Arizona doesn't stumble down the stretch. They're taking on a 17-9 Oregon team. Zona's won 7 straight. They're looking to win 8 straight. They're cruising right now. Nothing seems to be in their way. Oregon last week, 13.5. I would have jumped all over this and taken Oregon. But they've lost 2 out of 3, and one of those losses was to Cal, not a good loss. And then the other night they got blown out by a really bad Arizona State team, which is just awful, and at home, and it's just not good. And now they're heading to Tucson. Not good. I'm going to take Zona. I'm going to lay the 13.5. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, back to the Mountain West Conference we go. Save Mart Center in Fresno, where I once saw Prince. Yes, 2004 Musicology Tour. That's neither here nor there. 16-9 Fresno is 1.5-point dogs to the 16-6 San Diego State Aztecs, who come in. Fresno's lost 3 straight. San Diego State's won 4 straight. I like the Aztecs here. Take San Diego State, lay the 1.5. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, more Pac-12 action. Pauley Pavilion in Westwood. You've got 13th ranked UCLA, who's 18-5, but they've lost 3 out of 5. They're taking on a 13-11 Washington team who's lost 3 out of 4. But UCLA's 17.5-point chalk. Too big of a number. You all know I'm a UCLA fan. UCLA wins this game easily, but doesn't cover. Give me the Huskies plus the number. Finally, the last game of the week, the Degenerate Special, which I lost last week, going against Hawaii. Should have known better. It is what it is. 10 p.m. Eastern Time, West Coast Conference action. McKeon Pavilion in Moraga, California, in the Bay Area. 21-6 St. Mary's against 19-8 BYU. Kind of a battle for the best of the rest under Gonzaga and the WCC. I mean, you can also throw USF and Santa Clara in there because the WCC is very good, as I've been telling you all year. St. Mary's is 7-point favorites. They've won 3 out of 5. BYU's lost 3 out of 5. They need this one. They need this one badly. I'm going to take BYU. I think St. Mary's covers, but I think BYU keeps it close enough and comes in under the number to cover the Degenerate Special. So that's all you get. 25 picks from me. How you like me now, right? 23 the last 3 straight weeks. This week it's 25, right? 15 is the goal. 15 and 10 is a 60% day. Anything more than 15% is just gravy, right? As we continue to climb our numbers towards 63, which is our goal. So, just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. To me, the action is the juice. Scared money don't make money. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you.